The biggest home builders in the nation are seeing their shares go back to near all-time highs. So how does this affect you here in the Austin housing market? Let's dig right into it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Julio Monagas here in Austin, Texas. If this is your first time to the channel, bienvenidos to Casa Nueva y sí, hablamos español. But let's get back to this article by Fortune.com where they talk about home builders seeing their share prices go back to near all-time highs and how does that affect the Austin market. Two factors to consider. The big elephant in the room that has been for the past 10 months is the interest rates, and that is really affecting everything. And then number two, the resale market. And then we're gonna tie it back to home builders and how potentially what's the best opportunity for you in 2023. Okay, so interest rates in the resale market, they continue to put a constraint in this market. The interest rates right now, we're hovering around 6.5% to 7.25%. Last week we saw a spike in these interest rates, so obviously that continues to put a constraint in the resale market. Why? Because sellers, soon to be sellers, when they bought either at the end of 2020 or mid to the end of 2020, 2021, and the beginning of 2022, they are locked into a sub 3% interest rate. So why in the world would they sell? I don't blame them. I wouldn't sell either, unless obviously a family situation comes up and you have to move, employment, you name it. But if you don't have to sell, I don't blame you for not selling. It just doesn't make sense financially. So obviously this is putting a constraint in the resale market. What is that doing to the resale market? Resale market is bringing the inventory even lower, right? Because sellers don't want to sell. So where are the opportunities? Before we get into that, let's talk about some of the data and how the interest rates have actually affected sales as expected. So yes, year over year, we have seen a decrease in sold prices around 15 to 20%. And of course, we were at the peak around this time last year and data is gonna look terrible, right? And the data is what it is. And I'm not saying that we should throw it away, but if you could just set aside 2021 and 2022, which I know we cannot do, these were outlier years. And I don't think that these years will ever come back. First of all, I don't think that these interest rates are ever gonna come back, and I hope they don't because they're gonna throw the market for a loop again or go for a ride again. But what I'm trying to say is that if we could set these aside and know that the market is actually going back to stabilizing itself, now we can show you some of the opportunities that are in the market, even though the interest rates are still a little bit higher than what we saw in those years. So let's talk about those opportunities up next. Now, back to the article and some of the opportunities coming up for you guys here in 2023. Now, the article mentions a constrained national housing market does not equal a crashing housing market. And I'll have to agree with him in that sense. Some of the constraint that's happening right now, like I mentioned before, it's the interest rates in this resale market, and the resale market is still holding strong to these sub 3% interest rate. But that does not mean that the housing market is crashing. That's the message that they're getting from Wall Street, which has helped propel the stock prices of major home builders like D.R. Horton and Lennar back near their all-time highs. So what is this doing? The new home market has gained an advantage over the existing home market. The lack of competition that we're seeing in the resale market is actually favoring the new home market. Why? Well, let me tell you why. And this has to do with some of the opportunities that you'll have coming up in 2023 or for the remainder of the year. When home builders have this lack of competition coming from the resale market, they are able to offer, number one, they're able to offer you a lower interest rate. In fact, 90% of our home buyers this year alone, they've been able to lock in an interest rate below 6%. And some of them have been able to lock in an interest rate below 5%, not only including the interest rate, but also they are able to cover some of their closing costs, if not all of them. Some of the builders are offering even crazier incentives. They're offering you an appliance package, garage door opener, blinds, you name it. So this is how they're able to come into the market, maintain their volume, right? Because remember that for home builders, they want to keep that velocity of money. They want to keep selling these homes as fast as possible. And the only way that they can do that is by offering these incentives. Well, guess what? The resale market cannot do that because you have, John and Susie that have this amazing interest rate and they cannot get necessarily the price rate that they want, or they don't have the pool of buyers that can afford that interest rate that we have in the current market, which is either 6.5% or 7.25%. So keep that in mind. months. So again, I've said this in previous videos. We have, I don't know, Patrick, like 3 or 4 videos regarding new construction, and why I'm still a big fan of new construction moving forward this year is because of the opportunities. Before, you know, it was because it was new, you have the warranties, but now these incentives have gotten better and better, and they're offering the lowest interest rates around right now. Another point that I want to touch on that the article mentioned, and I'll read right off of the article, is that there was an overall cancellation rate of 10.8%. That's well below the peak of last year of 24.6%, which was in October, and slightly above 7.3 hit in February of 2022. So that also shows you the confidence that home builders are having, because the cancellation rate has decreased tremendously to 10.8%. And also some of the things that the article mentioned is that because these home builders saw such a huge spike in their profits during 2020, 21, 22, they are able to offer you as a consumer and the buyer, and as a buyer, these incentives with a lower, and I mention again, and I'll keep mentioning it again and again and again, but it's a lower interest rate, covering your closing costs, and then other incentives such as an appliance package or blinds for the entire home. So if you are looking to buy this year, you're like, Julio, you know, I don't know, I read the news, it's doom and gloom, that the housing market is going to crash. I don't want to pay an interest rate of 6.5% or 7.25%, but I still want to buy a home this year. I'm telling you right now, and we've made several videos over this, I think the new construction is where you're going to find your opportunity. And we have the proof in the pudding. Is that how you say it, Patrick? Yeah, proof in the pudding is that we, over 90% of our buyers this year for our entire team, have leaned towards new construction because of that, mainly because of the interest rate. And again, all of them, absolutely all of them, and I can send you proof if you ask for it, all of them have locked in a rate below 6%, some of them even below 5%. So on average, they're around 5.5%. So consider that if the current market right now is around closer to 7%, but with this builder, you can lock in at 5.5%. I mean, that's the difference of an $800 payment, if not more, obviously depending on the area and depending on other factors. So if you are interested in buying this year, don't be shy, make sure to reach out and we'll be more than happy to help you through the process. And we have tremendous connections with the builders around the area because again, we do so much business with them. So again, where I see the opportunities in this market moving forward in 2023, specifically to Austin and the surrounding areas, are in the new construction sector. If you need any help guiding you through this process, because it's a little bit different than the resale market, there are different moving parts. If you need help negotiating the price, if you need help negotiating some of the incentives and other things, we can help you with that. We have a ton of experience, especially in the last 2 to 3 years with the new construction housing market. But again, if the biggest home builders, Lennar and D.R. Horton, are seeing their shares go back up to near all-time highs, does that indicate a housing market crash? Not necessarily. And again, we don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the year. We are coming up onto an election year, but I don't see signs of a housing market crashing anytime soon. And again, if you're looking to buy a home this year, this is definitely a great opportunity for you. Last point I'll make before I let you go, guys, is that we don't know how long these incentives and how long these lower rates that these builders are offering will last, because like we said before, they're all about profit and they're all about the velocity of money. And if they're seeing their profits decrease, they may not be able to offer these incentives anymore. So this is a way of me saying, giving you a little bit of urgency that if you're financially, or because remember, in this channel, we're not ever trying to talk you into doing anything. We're here to help you go through the process if you are ready, because remember, buying real estate, especially buying the biggest asset of your life, is very hyper situational. So it depends on your financial standing, family, your credit score, debts, you name it. So it's very hyper situational. But if you are ready and you've been waiting on the sidelines and you're like, Julio, rates are still high, I don't know what to do. Well, this is the opportunity, because again, these builders continue to offer these crazy incentives. And the way that they're able to offer these incentives is because they buy these ahead of time. Again, according to this article, they made so much money in 2021 and 2022 that they're able to go into the open market and buy these lower rates and then offer them to you. So again, we don't know how long these are going to last. If you are ready to buy, we're here to help you through the process. You can reach out to us via text, email, or phone call, and we'll be more than happy to walk you through the process, or even come up with a plan. If you're not ready this year, maybe next year, we can help you through the process of doing this. We are available every single day, any time of the day. Don't hesitate to reach out, but until next time, adios.